Hello viewers, this is Linnea. Welcome back to my playthrough of Lightning Returns Final Fantasy XIII. Previously, in the Wildlands, we concluded the quest, The Secret Lives of Sheep. Found a bit of interesting stuff about the fuzzy sheep biology, and now we're going to go back to the Dead Dunes. We've got a quest or two that we can do here right now. One of them is Old Rivals, which we accepted from Tobias and Ruffian. He wants us to check in on his old rival, so let's go find him. The rival's name is Ramon.
You sure know how to make a girl wait, don't you? Let's do this.
All right, Fang. Except we're not going to the ruins just yet. I believe Ramon is hanging out by the temple ruins north gate. And I think I activated the cactuar statue nearby. So let's head to this red cactuar statue and teleport to the ruins north gate. Ah, here we go. Looks like he's got a quest.
What do you think you're doing, blundering around here and interrupting my precious sleep? You lost or something?
Just looking for a story. I hear that you once had big dreams of striking it rich.
Whatever dreams I had have been lost under the sands.
Then why stay? Why stick it out in the desert?
I owe it to my wife. She's gone now, but the one thing she valued more than her own life is still out there, in that desert. If I could just get it back, I'd be gone from here and never look back.
What could be so important?
Her arithmometer. And back when she was alive, back when we still had our shop, my wife was in charge of keeping the books. I never was good at numbers. But my wife, Monica, she lived by that arithmometer. We're gonna have great sales this month. Next month will be the one for us. Plugging numbers into that silly thing of hers. All with the most joyous smile you've ever seen. That smile of hers. That was my real treasure. And then one day those monsters stole my treasure away from me. Everything ended. My business, my life. I lost Monica and her smile. Now the only wares I have to sell to anyone are regret and despair.
I see. I'm sorry. Do you really think you'll be able to move on if you find your wife's memento, though?
Sure as the desert's dry. If I could just find that arithmometer for her, I'd be done with this place in a heartbeat.
And we found the arithmometer some time ago in the western part of the grave of the Colossi.
Light, do you think that's the arithmometer Monica left behind? Why don't you go ahead and give it to him?
Yep. Let us hand it over.
This is my wife's. I'd know it anywhere. The arithmometer that she so loved.
You've got your wife's memento back, so now you can leave the desert anytime you want. Isn't that right?
Like I've got any place else to go. Anyway, it would have been better if you'd just never found it. I want to say goodbye to the desert where my wife died. But I don't want to leave the desert where she lived. Don't you see? Now what am I supposed to do?
That's up to you. And if you can't figure it out yourself, well, then why don't you just think about what your wife would have wanted for you?
What Monica would have wanted is she always wanted me to make it out here as a merchant. Me and my shop. She wanted to help me achieve my dream of striking it rich.
I guess you have your answer. If you're going back into business, how about I be your first customer?
Yeah. I'd like that. After all, I owe you. You brought me back. You brought our dream back to life.
And that completes this quest already. We get 1300 gil and a gold padlock. And some stat boosts.
What would you like today?
And Ramon will sell Goblet notes, Desert Sahagan notes, Skeleton notes, and Cactuar notes. Might as well get the Skeleton and Cactuar notes.
Monica must be smiling.
Now to teleport to Ruffian to conclude old rivals. Yeah, the quest that we just concluded was his wife's dream.
A little sandbird told me what you've been up to. You've been busy, haven't you? But is it true? Is old Ramon open for business again?
Yep.
All I did was help him get back onto his feet.
Helping him at all is more than enough. The world's a pretty hard place to live in these days. You don't see a lot of people helping each other out. If there were more good eggs like you around, maybe this place wouldn't have ended up the ghost town that it is.
Someone's gotta be the first to start. Why not you?
Why? Because I'm a ruthless, greedy salesman. I don't do a thing if there's no profit in it.
Are you sure? For someone who claims to be a ruthless salesman, you look pretty happy to hear about your rival's return.
That's ridiculous. He'll be out of business again in a week, I'll bet. If he does manage to cut it somehow, a competitor might help me stay on my toes. I'll say this, my wares and my service will both be better than ever.
I certainly hope so. Don't let me down now.
So that completes the quest Old Rivals. We get 500 gil and a Snakeskin Hat. And some stat boosts. Alright, Toby.
Okay then, hurry up and order, will ya?
Cactuar tequila. That's picante.
You're always welcome.
But I didn't thank
We'll
you.
be looking forward to your next
Yeah, I
visit.
know what you meant. Well now, might as well head to our next place, Luxarian. Got some quests that we can conclude here as well. And continue working towards. For one thing, we found out some information about the quest Get the Girl over in Yuznan. So we might as well report in to Lackley in the Warren. And let's go this way.
All right, time to leave.
Hello, Niblet. Pestering the people of Old Town, are you? Oh, that takes care of you. So, let's head on into the Warren.
They say he ran off a rampaging behemoth.
Ah, you blasted Neo-Nixon. I'm going to ruin you. Bye-bye. Anyway, let's report into Lackley. Look at all those bottles.
You really should know your limit. Lackley. Hey, wake up.
Excuse me, but who are you? And how is it you know Lackley?
I don't know him too well, but he asked me to find his lost fiancée. I've come to tell him about this lead I found.
About Filiana? But where did...
At a restaurant in Yusnan. Apparently, there was an old woman working there who wore the same ring that Lackley gave to his fiancée. And when her health failed, that woman went to stay with a friend who lived in... Huh.
What is it? Is there something wrong with my hat?
According to the man I talked to at the restaurant, the friend who came to pick up the elderly lady was wearing an unusual hat. You seem familiar enough with Lackley. You also knew Filiana's name. Was it you?
Let me explain. Lackley and Filiana and I are friends from long ago. I'm Sela, and yes, I'm the one who escorted that old woman from the shop in Yusnan.
Care to tell me why?
Sure, but can we go elsewhere? I don't want Lackley to hear this. There's a graveyard with no name. You know of it, don't you? It's beyond North Station, on the outskirts of town. Oh, good. He's still sleeping. Come to the graveyard later so we can talk.
Okay. So we've got to go find Sela in the graveyard. Sober up, Lackley.
Nights come, you know it's
Time to close up shop.
Might as well use chronostasis, I guess.
This is where he died. Represents this city.
So I think we want to take this way into the graveyard so we can meet Sela. Here we go. Get out of the way, Neonectons.
Will I be reborn?
Now these bugs pop up between 4 and 6 each morning.
Do you dream of death?
Goodbye. Hello, Sela. Here we are.
Thanks for coming. Before I tell you anything, can you promise you won't pass this information on to Lackley?
Okay.
It depends on what you have to say.
I suppose that's fair enough. I hardly know where to begin, though.
How about I start then? The old woman working at that restaurant in Yusnan had the same ring as Lackley's, the same as his fiance's. Why?
For the most obvious reason, of course. That old woman was none other than Filiana, the person Lackley's been trying so hard to find. After she left him, she began working under a fake name.
That's surprising. The way Lackley described her. Well, she's not what I expected.
He wasn't lying. She was a real beauty, once. We don't know how or why, but something happened to her. In this world where everyone stopped aging, she was the one and only person who managed to grow old over the past years. It began right around the time she and Lackley first got engaged.
But why? Why would it be possible for one person alone to escape the stasis in this world? And are you saying that's why she left Lackley and disappeared from his life?
She said the last thing she wanted to do was become a burden to him. But I know she missed him. She always wanted to know how he was doing. She loved nothing more than hearing stories about him, no matter how banal they were. Back when she could still walk, she told me how she would sometimes pass by him in the streets. She never said anything to him, and he never could have guessed that the old woman he saw was his beloved fiancée.
That's why he never found her after all this time, no matter how hard he searched.
Yes. Year after year, she aged more and more, and her body began at last to fail. She's free from that pain now. Finally.
I see. I'm glad she was able to find peace.
No!
No. Lackley!
I wouldn't have cared how old my Filiana looked! I loved her with every fiber of my being! My only wish was to spend every day with her until the end of the world! Filiana, why did you have to...
Lackley.
A little over the top, Lackley. Calm down.
Lackley.
Sela, I don't want you to worry about me. Remember what you told me before, when we met? If there's still hope in this world, maybe I'll find Filiana, right?
Yeah, I remember saying that. So now I've just proven there's no hope.
No, that's not what I'm saying at all. I'm saying I need to find my own hope, for me. I can't wait around for any god or savior. And even if my hopes get dashed, or they never come true, at least in my heart I'll know she's watching over me from somewhere. I'm done being a fool who runs to the bottle every time something goes wrong. That's not me. I want to show Filiana, wherever she is, that I'm still the man she fell in love with. The man I used to be. That's what she would want. Could you give me that ring?
Here. Thank you. You've helped me find some hope of my own, while I was supposed to be looking for yours.
And that completes this quest. We earn 1500 gil, exotic shades, and some stat gains.
I just came to visit my Filiana for a while.
Oh, that concludes Get the Girl. Now we've got to go conclude the Avid Reader.
Be careful.
For the Avid Reader, we previously found Ranulf's journal over in Yusnan, And if you'll remember, we read the journal, even though he asked us not to. Hello, Buggy. Excuse me while I squish you. Goodbye. So, back to Ranulph we go. He's by a cafe in the southeast of the city.
The day is nigh, when God will send his mighty servant.
Keep your eye on the clock. It's nearly time to get you back up here.
I know, I know. And Ranulph appears.
Light, what are you gonna do with that journal? Are you gonna give it to Ranulph? Do you think you should?
If he reads this, he'll remember everything, even the ugly past that he worked so hard to forget. He's lived happily for centuries.
Sometimes the truth does more harm than good. Do you think he'd be able to handle this? Because if you don't think he can, maybe he's better off not knowing.
I want to tell him the truth, but I don't know if I should. What's the right thing to do?
Well, hello there. Have you tried Marlin's muffins today? They're exceptional. My hat's off to you, Marlin.
I'm glad to hear that. Ranulph, I have something to tell you. It's about your journal.
My journal? Did you find that old thing?
So, let us hand it over.
I did. I have it with me now, in fact.
That's fantastic.
Don't get too excited. You don't remember what's written in it for good reason. You made yourself forget. And some things are better left forgotten. Are you ready to accept the reality of your past? If not, please don't read it.
What do you mean, the reality of my past? I'd like to know. I may regret my decision, but yes, I'd like to read it. I'm prepared to face the truth.
You're absolutely sure?
Yes.
All right. Here it is. The part of your past you've been missing all this time.
I remember now. I had a wife and daughter, but they were taken from me. The killer was never caught, though not for a lack of trying. I pursued him with a vengeance for years, decades even.
Whether out of frustration or rage, eventually it became too much for you to bear. Your mind chose to forget that tragic event so you could keep on going with your life.
I can't believe I've been living a lie for so long. How could I have erased the memory of my lovely wife, my beautiful daughter, their laughter, their love?
I'm sorry. Maybe recovering the journal, maybe it wasn't for the best.
No, I'm grateful you helped me remember what happened. I needed to remember. Thank you. The truth surrounding the incident is still a mystery to this day. This can't be the way it ends. I need to know what happened to my family and why. I need closure. Truth is the only thing that will help me go on with my life.
Are you sure? You don't know the things you might uncover.
I'm sure.
Hope, I need to find out the truth behind this. I owe it to him. He deserves it. Now that he remembers his past, he needs closure.
He summoned up all of his courage to face the truth. The least we can do is help him learn it all. I'll do whatever I can to help. Just say the word. Oh, I don't know if this will help, but I may have found something regarding the case.
Turn on chronostasis again.
Anything would help at this point.
I found an old newspaper article about what happened to Renault's family. Unfortunately, it doesn't contain anything we already don't know.
But that means there's a reporter out there who knows all about this case.
That's true. There is a chance they may know something that can lead us in the right direction. It's not much, but let's pursue it.
So, we need to find a reporter.
Over and over again, trying to find something I may have missed. I've come up empty so far.
But that means there's a reporter out there who knows all about this case.
That's true. There is a chance they may know something that can lead us in the right direction. It's not much, but let's pursue it.
So that fails the Avid Reader quest, because we read the journal. However, that allowed us to start up another quest to save the Sinless. Hello, Mia Necton. Quit bugging this poor guy.
Pray for the dead. I'm walking fate's path.
Goodbye, Mia Necton. Well, I think we've done about all we can do on this day. There are only 35 minutes left on the game clock.
There's really not much time left until you need to return to the Ark.
I know this, Hope.
Reading that journal again.
Thank you for visiting.
Got anything new? No, I guess not.
If you need a room, please visit our hotel.
Have your sights on anything special?
Now, let's see what you have. No new garbs, I see.
Come back anytime.
Oh well. Now there's a quest that you have to have a certain number of adornments to complete. Just going through and counting them. Yeah, I think I have enough of them.
Whether the hunter is involved in all this or not, though, that's the real question.
The souls of disbelievers will sink into the chaos, and will be ravaged.
So I will wait for the clock to run out, and lightning will beam back up to the Ark. This is Hey Rotlinia. I would like to thank you for watching, and I will see you again next time on the Ark.